Join us right now for some reaction and to talk about Joe Biden's plans for jobs in the economy. Pete Buttigieg, former mayor of South Bend, Indiana, and currently, of course, a Biden surrogate, campaign surrogate. Mayor Pete, it's great to see you this morning. Are you surprised by whatever, I don't know how you want to describe the recovery, but given that we have recovered more than I think even when I talked to Vice President Biden on this program several months ago, and the expectation was, and he said very explicitly, he did not think that there would be one.
Well, anything short of a total conflagration, I guess we can take to be good news. But I'm extremely concerned as we continue to look around and see something like 30 million Americans relying on unemployment. We're seeing a rise in food insecurity in the United States of America. Clearly we are in for a long, tough struggle. And, some economists are starting to talk not about a U-shaped recovery or a V-shaped recovery, but a K-shaped recovery where the best off, those who had the most to begin with, they're going to pop right back to normal. And a lot of those who are most vulnerable, a lot of those who've been struggling for some time, are dug in even worse for even longer. I'm very concerned about what's going to happen when this $300 kicker on unemployment runs out. And as I just look around my community, I think that we've got a long way to go before we can say that we have a strong economy. But we're just not going to have a strong economy until we deal with the virus. That's the simple reality of economics in an emergency. That's why we need a president who actually has a plan to do that, actually believes in science, and is actually going to be honest with the American people instead of trying to downplay or mislead when there's a real live national emergency on our hands.
Mayor Pete, one of the things that Treasury Secretary Mnuchin said was this is not a time to think, frankly, about saving money or to think about the debt. How do you think about debt right now? And how would the vice president approach a presidency in terms of spending?
Well, that's right that this is like wartime. And the biggest priority is making sure we avoid catastrophe. But, it's still out there. We've still got to make sure that we're paying attention to our fiscal position. It's one of the reasons why Vice President has been honest with the American people about what's going to happen and where the revenue is going to come from. Americans are already of the opinion that corporations need to start paying their fair share, that the wealthiest need to start paying their fair share. And we've got decades of proof in the American experience that when you do that, it's perfectly compatible with robust economic growth. That's where the vice president's going to lead us, and he should, because that's what we need.
Mayor Pete, one of the things that the vice president has said, though, is that he will raise corporate taxes. What do you tell the small businesses out there, the restaurateurs and others that are struggling as is, that they may get a tax hit come 2021 if the vice president were to win?
Well, what I can tell you is under President Trump, those small businesses are paying more taxes than Amazon. What you're going to have with the vice president, with the Biden-Harris administration is actually respecting small business and asking the giant corporations to pay their fair share. Look, the biggest problem with American tax policy has been the loopholes. It's been the ways in which you can make billions. And if you've got legions of accountants and lawyers, you can park your profits in such a way that in some cases, some of the most profitable and largest companies in the world paying literally less in taxes than that small business, less in taxes than you and I did in dollar terms. That's not going to continue under Joe Biden. And in the long run, that levels the playing field so that those small businesses are better off.